entertaining, stupid pad thai coming to you live.
You're supposed to look in the camera when you do that.
I did. Coming at you live.
No, you were looking at the laptop.
No, I literally went, coming at you live.
Okay, there you go.
Coming at you.
Okay, now just edit one of those in.
Coming.
Do the pad thai again.
On his face.
Do the pad thai one more time.
Entertaining, stupid pad thai.
There you go. All right, that's it.
Nails it.
Nailed it.
I'm gonna go sodomize my wife.
My face is too fat. Anyway, all right.
What?
3, 2, 1. You saw they do that backwards. Welcome to another episode of the Entertaining Stupid Pat.
He said pad.
Pad thai.
Oh my
Welcome
God.
to the Pad
Podcast.
Yeah,
Welcome to another episode of the
Podcast.
Entertaining Stupid Podcast. It's me, Matty B, and today I'm with
Rheal. Sylvan.
I got dog. Dan. Sorry, I got
Dog and Dan.
We can't even do introductions properly.
No, we're okay.
One
We're
year
okay.
later, we've gotten worse.
I mean, I just said pad instead of podcast. It's pretty
So
embarrassing.
Matt's got something on the mind.
we started at 0. Now we're at -1. We're gonna go back up.
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna make my way back up to having one viewer at least. Go in the positives, right? Okay, so Dan, you had a topic you wanted to talk about today. So elaborate, do tell, and we can discuss.
True. My idea was today was, and I was talking to Sil on the way over here, is that like for me and throughout my entire life, I've been like I have an obsessive personality, whereas I find something and I grasp onto it. Like whether it be exercising or video games or anything, like I'll find something, I'll get obsessed about it, and then I'll just like completely focus on it. But that can be, I feel like obsession, obviously, and like obsession can be a bad thing. But if it's put towards a positive, is it still a good thing, or is it ultimately still a bad thing because it's an obsession? So like that's what I was thinking about. Even on the way over here, like I got lost a couple times because I wasn't even thinking of directions. I'm thinking of my homework in the back of my head because I'll admit, I'm kind of obsessed about it. I'm like, I want to get it done. So instinctively, that's not a bad obsession because it makes me want to do my homework. But if it overlaps everything else in my life, maybe it isn't.
Okay, so a couple questions then. So that's the only thing you're currently obsessed about? Or like is there other things besides homework that you're obsessed about? And why are you obsessed about homework?
Obsessed about homework because I want to get it done.
Okay.
I like it when I can. I guess it's like a problem and I can figure it out. It's something.
Do you like it because you like the freedom after? Like that's the reward, is the freedom of having it been completed and you don't have to worry about it anymore?
Freedom, but also the pride of knowing that I've made something.
You've
like for example,
accomplished something.
I've created a program that can do something, and obviously there's been a billion people who've probably made a program better than me, but that's mine.
Okay. And then the other question, and then you can ask, is like when is the homework assignments due? Like are they quick assignments, like they're due within a quick relative period of time, or is there like long assignments? So you have long extensions, so you have like say like 2 to 3 weeks to get it completed, or is it mostly like done and it's due by the end of the week?
Okay, yeah, no, most these ones are like a 2-week kind of thing. It's like, hey, you got 2 weeks to do the assignment, take it home. Because the whole thing is that as he's teaching us, we actually, there's a few questions, like you'll go to do the thing, you'll get to question 4 and he'll say, okay, now do a loop. And we're like, we haven't learned loops yet because he hasn't taught us yet. Yeah. So essentially he gives us the assignment at the beginning of the week and then kind of teaches us the rest of the stuff throughout the week. Yeah. So that we can kind of like, I guess what he wants us to do is
slowly
take the
progress
class, do a question on the assignment. Then do the class, do a few more questions on the assignment because you know how to do them. So kind of, the assignments are almost meant to just keep you on point.
That's cool.
But yeah, so this one was due originally 2 weeks, and since I'm a procrastinator and like I was sad down for a few days, I'm like I don't, I'll wait until, and then so this week I came around, I'm like, okay, I got to actually start doing this project.
It's due at the end of next week then?
It's due at Monday, after this weekend. So I have one question left out of 11. Yeah. I started on Monday. Monday was a bit of a breaking day for me because if anyone else has ever done programming and doesn't know anything about it, it's a language and you need to understand the language. I came in slightly distraught because I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. And the one question, which is now would take me approximately a minute to do, took me about 3 hours. I'm like, I don't know how this goes. And anyways, through all that frustration, I ended up getting it. But the completion, when I got it, like, Sil lives with me. He's seen me a few times after I get a question. Like, I'm I'm ecstatic.
Mm-hmm.
Like I love it.
Like
so I
he
love.
comes up the stairs and like you'd think he like just did like a massive bump of cocaine. He's just so jazzed. He's fucking like arms in the air. He's like yelling. He's like, I fucking did it.
That's cool.
So
that's
like,
cool.
So I know so that's where my obsession, because my almost obsession is to get to that point where I get that elation. I go, I fucking did it. Like where it's funny because you don't complete it, you feel like a complete idiot.
Yeah.
Then you do it, and then like all jokes aside, for a brief moment you're like, I am God.
Yeah.
I am next to him. But like, of course not. But like that's the obsession for me.
now.
That's why I love it, because the feeling. But that obsession is a good thing for me because at least it makes me do my homework. Like because normally I would have probably waited until Sunday. I'm like, let's do Monday. I'll do it Sunday, and I would have been fucked. Because like I literally, a guy in my class says like, oh, I'm on question 2, and to me I'm like, good luck. Like unless you have previous program experience, you're gonna have a bad 2 days. But
yeah, but everyone does work differently too. Like there's people that want to work it out long term and do that, and that's a smart way of doing it. Don't get me wrong. Like I think that's a better way of doing it and being more prepared, because that means you're prepared for everything going to the next day and etc. I'm more of that guy though that does the 2-day cram.
I'm the same.
And I like, for me, like depending on the criteria, obviously, like for an assignment in a paper, I found that maybe I was more creative because I'm like, oh, I have this task due by this date, which is like a day away.
I get that.
So I really got to put everything into it and be focused on it. But that being said, though, it's probably better to do with the long version where you can do like an hour a day and take a chunk out each day instead of doing like 16 hours or 8 hours on a paper when, you know, that's a full day of work you're adding on, right? Besides the class. So like that's the way I did it. And it worked out for me, but that's not the best for everyone. Right. And then also it's actually probably creating a good work habit for you if you start doing it, because you'll take that in when you actually go to work.
That's
And then you're like, I came prepared already. I've been prepared for this for like X amount of days. I'm ready to do this, instead of just being like, oh, I can't remember how to do this formula for my coding for this, you know, like big business. So I don't know what to do. So I got 1 day to do it before I have to go and start coding it, because I'm going to be billing them $40 an hour for X amount of days, right? So like at least you'll be prepared for it, right? So I think that's definitely a good, I'd say obsession, I guess, right? Like that's what he's saying it as, is obsession of getting stuff done early. And
well, the obsession of like, I guess the obsession would mainly be to get it done, but mainly it's the fact, the obsession that I can, like, to me, in my mind, I can't accept failure. I can't let myself get to the point.
Well, see, like, I wouldn't even say that's an obsession then. I would say that's more of just a motivation. Like, it's something that motivates you, that, you know, you see as a goal, because you don't want to fail.
Well, like, I think what he's saying about obsession is, like, last night when we were playing Among Us, like, we were playing video games. Normally that's Dan's, like, I'm playing video games time. Mm-hmm. He was doing his programming homework.
No, for sure.
Well, like, normally, like, if I'm playing video games, I'm playing video games. Like,
yeah,
that's
what
I'm doing.
I would say then that at that point it's more like his obsession or his interest now lies in coding.
Exactly.
Which I'm very okay with, because I was even
Which
saying,
is good, because you wanted to have that interest. Yeah.
Look, it came back to, and what I
But Dan, you also had that same thing with nursing at the start too.
True.
Like you were not obsessed, but you're very interested in everything, and you take a lot of time into putting in work, right? And you had very good grades your first year.
Yeah, I did. And then, end of first year, depression kicked my ass, and I didn't care.
Yeah.
And I guess the best thing is now, what I was worried about getting back into school is I was worried I wouldn't have the obsession. I was worried I wouldn't have that, because depression would kick it in the ass. Like Sylvan said, normally it's true. When I game. There's nothing else.
Yeah.
Whereas even last night, and I was in, and it, like, to me, I know, like, not to be rude to anyone else, but I'm like, I only did it when I was dead. I played. But like the way I looked at it, and even while doing it, I'm like, I can't get out of my head. I'm like, good.
That's good.
I'm like, I'm good. And I guess the thing is, fear originally motivated me, because the first day when I did that first question, it took me 3 hours to figure out the volume of a circle. What? Like, and now I look at it, I'm like, that's 2 little statements. That's it. But to those 3 hours, like, I was so demoralized, because I'm like, man, maybe I'm in over my head. I'm like, this is. I'm like, I'm smart, but I don't. Maybe like you maybe need a really cool work ethic and everything, and maybe. But now that I'm getting a little bit obsessed, I'm happy about it, because I know that that'll drive me. Like working out at the gym, I do best when I'm obsessed, because then I keep going, like, to a point. And that's where I guess what I'm discussing is, when do you know that it's gone, like, to an obsession of a healthy amount to an unhealthy? Like, say for example, I'm driving and I'm trying to do fucking homework or whatever, right? Like, that's too far.
Or like when diet and exercise becomes an eating disorder. Like, there's that fine line that you have to walk between when obsession is good and when obsession is bad.
Or like school, like if you do only homework and you never socialize, that's bad, right? Like, 'cause then you're making yourself trying to think of the word, but Not a good
Dweeb.
Yeah, you're a nerd.
Did
Actually, literally, my whole class is nerds. I love it.
Did
We're
you
all
have a
nerds.
question ready to you? Like, sorry,
Yeah.
like cut you off there before you were going to
No.
ask Dan something?
God, no.
Oh, you forgot already?
Okay. But no, I guess, yeah, my biggest thing is I get obsessed. And so I'm always wondering for everybody, do you guys have obsessions that are healthy and unhealthy? It's like I have video games and I have weed. That's an unhealthy obsession.
The weed I almost see as like it's more of a lifestyle than an obsession at this point.
I guess you're right. I don't actively think about weed. I don't be like, I need it. I want it.
Yeah.
This.
You
I'm
make
just like,
your whole personality about it.
I would say that obsession is a very strong word.
That's the
Like,
problem.
Yeah.
That's
I
the
guess
problem.
you're
Is
right.
I keep thinking of obsession as
a
like
negative.
the drug addict who's like, I need heroin and I'll do
Yeah.
everything in my life to get heroin. And
In-
it's like,
Let me throw
yeah.
this at you guys, because like I'll be open here. Like ever
he's
since
done
like
heroin.
no, I haven't. Thankfully, I haven't. But
That's
like
good value.
actually, like with listening to Dan's podcast and all that, and going through some anxiety stuff, I decided I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna go to therapy. So I started going to therapy.
Therapy's great, man.
It's amazing. I mean,
Therapy,
yeah, like it really helps,
it's
man.
fucking
Just to talk about, just to let everything off your chest and have someone independently, listen to you and give you advice that way, without being like your loved ones and stuff. Because your loved ones will say, well, I don't think you're that or this or that. Because, you just have these things. But I'm like, no, I want to go talk to this person and get their point of view, right? But the way she spun it to me, which I found fascinating, and I kind of think that it correlates with what you're saying, is more of like, everything in life is like a reward system. So like, you're rewarded for everything. You're rewarded for being lazy. So like, you saying like, I'm going to clean up my room tomorrow, your instant reward is I don't have to clean my room right now.
Yeah.
Like, and then I never thought of that before. And I'm like, oh my God, like I'm so happy. Like that. Another thing is when you're depressed or sad, you're like, I'm going to go to junk food, but I'm going to eat a bunch of it now, but tomorrow I'm going to be better. But then you keep on eating the junk food each day, but you keep on telling yourself that, but the reward is the junk food, right?
the thing with unhealthy coping mechanisms, the reward is instant.
And that's the thing. And
Yeah,
she said every bad habit is an instant reward.
Yeah, like
So
I don't want to cook, so skip the dishes. It's
instant reward because you don't
Yeah.
have to, and you're like, then you get like the the happiness comes like I don't have to cook, I'm so happy, but that's your reward for it.
Makes sense.
So I think that's kind of what your reward is, but your reward is like I put in the work and I'm seeing the results and I'm happy with it because I'm actually putting in the stuff where I thought I couldn't do it before. And now I know that I can. That's my reward. It's like I can fucking do this.
Okay, you're
know?
right. Yeah, that's putting
So,
a good life.
And a little more, but it's like the other thing is like that you're interested in it, so that adds on to it, which can be part of that obsession. Is that you're so interested in it that you want to keep on working at it. So like that's a good thing to have too, right? But like I would say bad obsessions, like even going like back to the therapy moment there. Like I was like, I just want to get back in the gym and start doing what I did and get back to where I was. And she's like, like that's awesome that you want to do that stuff, but like, why can't you just like who you are now? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, because I wanted to be that. I felt a certain way and this and that. She's like, yeah, but like, you don't necessarily have to go back to that to be, where you want to be.
Reach the past.
Yeah, like you can't. Sometimes you might just have plateaued and like you can't get back, or it's hard to get back. Like, and why do you have to compare to that always? Like, you're always looking back to that one part.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, you're right. Like, it's hard because it's hard to get back to those things. So I'd say the gym is kind of a good but also bad one because you dedicate all your time in there and you put in all this effort, but it's not sustainable ever. Like all those people that have those giant ripped six packs and look the fucking humongous, you can't keep that physique. It's impossible. Like you can have like a ripped six pack, but not like a shredded, like built in, like in the magazines and stuff like that. That's only good for like 3 days. And then like your competition's done, and then you're going back to build the body
To
fat.
normal, yeah.
Not only
Yeah.
that, to get that picture, you have to dehydrate
Oh,
yourself.
exactly,
Insane
exactly.
amounts.
Yeah.
But they make you look like every celebrity like that who's jacked in the movies. They make you look for that certain shot, right? They'll get you super dehydrated and all that. But then you're like, I want to be that, right? Like that's the hard part. So like, that's the kind of stuff that I just find very interesting about it, right? So, yeah.
Right, you sounded like you had a counterpoint.
I have a different opinion on that. Like, I see where you're coming from. And
Yeah.
I totally understand that. I would think, what if you think of it as just a passion? It's just this brand new thing that you've discovered. And all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, I want to know more about it. I want to do this all the time. I want to know everything about it. Repeat myself because I can't even think of new ways to say it. But it's just like this brand new experience to you. And you get so excited about it. And it's temporary.
Yeah.
A lot of times it's temporary. And if it continues for a long time, it can turn into this long-term passion that's an awesome career or something that you enjoy.
That's why I added in that interest part because I'm like, now
Yeah.
you've created a new interest that you're like, but then you get the reward out of it too because you're interested in it. You're like, yeah, I can fucking do this. Like,
But for right now, I would say I just see it as a brand new passion for you that you're excited and super interested in. So it's going to consume a lot of your time, a lot of your mind space, and then just kind of see how it pans out weeks from now, months from now.
Yeah.
See where it goes.
Like I think there's, I don't know. I would say like I'm not obsessed, like because I can live without it, thankfully. But I am very into video games, and it's more like an escape mechanism and something I can hide behind. And not deal with all my problems or issues in my head.
Yeah.
Like, when you talk, you're like, because your own worst enemy is yourself. Like, you're always talking down to this, or you're battling yourself internally in your mind.
I'll get that bastard someday.
Yeah, and you're just like, fuck this. So you just hide behind this wall, right? And that escape is the video games. So I wouldn't say it's an obsession, but it's fucking, like, not close, because I'm not like, I have to be on my monitor. I have to do this. I have to do that. Like, I have to be there all the time on it.
It's not on your mind 24/7.
No, exactly. But it's a very good hobby. It's a
Yeah.
very good, something that, what was the word you said?
Passion.
Passion.
See,
It's a passion
the way
for
he
sure.
puts it, I do agree with Ray, because obsession is, I feel like, more given to a negative connotation.
Yeah.
It's like, you're obsessed. You're right, like a drug dealer. You're obsessed with doing drugs. You're obsessed with food. You're obsessed.
Yeah.
Whereas, I have a passion for food. Means that you're a cook.
Yes.
All right? Instead of being like, I'm obsessed with food, means you're a fat slob that goes bananas.
I would say the passion is more of the positive spin on it. The obsession is more of the negative spin.
Yeah.
So the passion would be like, I get the excitement of doing a program. The obsession would be thinking how I could use it to hurt my enemies.
No, the obsession would be like your passion is like, I really love computer science and I love programming, right? And you do it. Your obsession would be like, that's all I care about, and I don't care about seeing my friends and family.
Like you haven't eaten in like 24 hours because you're still
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
If you're the programmer who's
Yeah.
like starts at 9 a.m. and someone comes down at 7 p.m. and he's like, "What have you been doing?" You're like, "I've been at my computer this whole time. Have you eaten?" No.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a problem here.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay,
That's just
I
like-
see what you're saying.
That's like you saying like at first like it's just a beer a day, but then you're obsessed with drinking your face off to get through whatever pain you might have or whatever it be, and you're drinking 10 beers a day. Like you're obsessed with that, and you know.
Okay, no, that's,
But you might have a passion for like, I want to try this craft brew today, and then the next day I'm gonna just maybe take the day off. But the next one I have planned is going to be from BC or whatever, and that's your passion. You love different pale ales, right?
Yeah, but if you're doing 6 bottles of wine tasting a
Yeah.
night,
That's the obsession.
That's just a good
It's
time.
called a
it's
Catalina.
classy.
It's the
Yeah.
Catalina wine.
That's
mix.
where I made the difference, right? Like someone might have one beer, but they have a passion for different, so they
I get
order it
that.
online, right, and stuff like that.
No, or essentially, I guess it'd be So like you guys said though, it's to the point where passion can be. It's a positive spin on it, whereas obsession is everything else gets shoved to the side. Whereas like normally, like same with you. Quite frankly, like I guess I could say maybe obsession, because like I think about video games a lot. I could say that for doubt, because like I'm thinking about ways to optimize or ways to be more efficient, or what's a better farming route, or what's the meta, or what could I do to
I would say that's a passion. Like,
See,
yeah.
And so like that's my normal passion. I guess the cool thing is that like that was really my majority passion.
Yeah.
Whereas now I guess the thing that I'm kind of excited about, whereas like last time when we were gaming, that's the first time I've ever been gaming and been doing something else. Like, because normally I take homework and I'm truly the same way. I'm like, oh, I'll do it next month. I'll do it next week. I'll do it tomorrow when it's due.
Can I interrupt you for a second?
Yeah.
Sorry, I think that's because the only passion you had was video games.
Yeah,
And now you've actually added something in.
I
so
have.
It actually makes something more exciting. Right?
It does, and that's what I'm saying.
Because you're like,
When
I
I'm-
have
when-
another escape besides video games.
Like the gym, when I was obsessed, like I will admit, like for anyone listening, I was at one point obsessed with the gym and eating to the point of borderline.
Actually,
anorexia.
sorry. I don't think you're obsessed with the gym. I think you're obsessed with a certain physique.
Yeah, I was. You're right. The
Yeah.
gym wasn't the obsession, but the gym was like a vehicle that I used.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
like that was
eating.
that was a body dysmorphia obsession.
Yeah.
I would call that.
Yeah,
Like,
that was
'cause you
bo-
were not happy with what you looked like, and even when you got to unhealthy levels, you still were not happy.
I still wanted to lose more weight. I remember that. I remember being on the scale. Like right now, if I'm gonna be generous to myself, I'm probably pushing 230, maybe 225. And
That's pretty good.
Really, that's probably what I'm always been heavier. At my lightest, I was 160, and at 160, I remember at 160, I was flat, like nothing there. I still had love handles, and I couldn't stand it. Want to get rid of them. Everything I want to get rid of. And when I wore anything tight, I liked how the top looked. Hated how this part looked. Right? At 160, I'm 230 now, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. Like with Matthew, I think that when you look back, I look back at myself and went, man, anything other than that is failure. Anything other than what I was able to achieve is failure, which isn't healthy, because then I could say to myself, well, why do I need to be that skinny? I don't need to be 160. I need to be about 185, 190.
Yeah.
The scary part about that is, imagine you being taller than me and wider in the shoulders, but being lighter than me. That's what you were.
Yeah. Oh, you know what's funny? That was the only time in my ever life I was able to fit my brother's clothes. We shared pants, like suit pants, and I actually was able to wear them. And to me, I will admit, like, because he's always been my idol.
Yeah.
I viewed that as complete peak. I went, I'm the same size as Mike. That means that I made it.
Yeah.
Right. Like I can fit everything he can fit. And I do look back at pictures, like especially earlier on. I did look like there's moments where like I'm pale, but I looked pale and gaunt. Like I almost looked like you know the
sunken eyes.
The I figured out. You know what? My mask fitting. I had to get my mask refitted, and I figured out after. I was so like ghoul looking before. My eyes were so sunken. I had to get a different mask because it wouldn't fit my face. Now a normal mask fits. I had to get a special mask and I even asked him
for what mask?
Nursing.
Nursing mask.
And the funny thing is, at the moment, I even asked him like, so. Mask won't fit probably instinctively because my jawline is too rigid or something. Like, no, it's because your eyes are really sunken. I'm like, okay.
And that means
I'll take that and I'll work around.
So more cardio is what you're saying.
Yeah, more cardio. Yeah, but so that was what I'm saying. But you're right. Like bringing it back, my one passion. Like at one point, I was obsessed with body image, which was unhealthy.
Yeah.
I had a passion for gym, which I still enjoyed. And then it turned from all that gone to just having a passion for pretty much video games to now I have video games and then I at least have a passion for something that's in it. And I'm not saying video games are not completely unproductive. They're not. But generally you're not making or building anything.
I would just say you have another avenue besides video games compared to where you only had video games before, which is good.
Yeah. So
I'm
happy about that.
It's like, for me, it's like sports. Like it's another avenue of a passion that I have. Like I can watch football all day Sunday, or I can watch Stanley Cup playoffs or this or that. Those are passions, right? Like besides video games.
Yeah, because you've always been weird like that. Because you're one of our friends who knows how sports work. No, still does too. Actually, Jayson does too, I think. And even
Jason
you do. I think I'm the only one that doesn't. No, you've said
Rheal
sports. You've said sports.
He knows
teams
esports though. Rheal knows
the
esports.
Stanley Cup was going on
It's
very
still on.
recently.
It's still
I didn't
on.
know that.
Game
the
5's
finals.
today.
Yeah.
I genuinely don't even know how it actually works. I don't know if it's like they take the total goals every year and they just say who has the most.
But there's a lot of.
I don't even know how it works.
There's a lot of people that aren't interested in it either. There's just as much people interested as there is disinterested.
Or like the one YouTube ad. It was like saying it's like guys. It was like it's meant to target like the man's man. It's like men. You want to go on a trip and watch sports with your friends and get paid to do it. And I'm
Fuck
like,
yeah.
And in my mind, I'm like, no, not really.
No.
I'd rather just stay home.
I would love it.
You can keep the money. I'd rather just not. Right? Like, and that's and it's funny because you think because you're right. Because anyone else's passion, you go, my God, that's the best thing ever, and you're pandering to me. And then I know I don't have specialized ads. I said, I'm like, yeah, you missed the mark with this one.
Yeah.
Don't try to put sports on me. Ain't gonna go too well.
Well,
look
at someone else. I know he's not on the podcast right now, but I think Jason's starting to get a new passion with skateboarding. It looks like. He's getting some new skateboards, right? Like he's been going boarding, right?
Arts.
Yeah, drawing.
That is something I always thought was like super cool. But I just like tried when I was a kid. And I sucked so hard at skateboarding. I was like, dude, I just want to know how to like ride the board. I don't even care about like doing
tricks. Just ride without falling.
I just wanted to ride without falling. I'm like, I can't fucking ride. I was so mad.
I was at the point where I could ollie, but I could not ollie while moving.
Like I think it's so badass when I see people like fucking cruising down like the fucking bridge and their skateboard and they can like do everything and dive around people or dodge people. Like, dude, it's so impressive. Like I wish I could do that, but I could never. I just fucking biff and die.
U of S, I have a funny story about that. U of S, I had a brief moment where I'm like, I'm going to reinvent myself. I'm going to be the cool guy. I decided, and it was a very brief 2-day stint. I decided from the parking lot, I was going to use longboard, and I was going to longboard to where my class, which actually would have saved some time, but ultimately it was just for the looks of it. I'm like, this will work out well. First day. I'm going by the one building. I'm coming down a ramp. I'm like, what do I do when I need to stop? It's a longboard. I don't know how to stop. And there's a bush. I go, well, I guess that's how I'm going to stop. I literally just go face into the bush. I hit back, and I look around. There's about 2 people looking at me going, what the fuck is he going? Put the board down. Just keep going down the sidewalk. Day 1, I run into a bush. That's 2 times in a day. I ran into the second bush after I left class. Oh, same thing. I went down the ramp. Like, how the fuck do I stop a longboard? You can't. No. So I just hit the bush. And then the second day, when I gave up on it entirely, I'm like, I'm not really good at it. Maybe just practice. Second day, I'm going, and I lose my footing, and while I'm trying to correct myself, the board just flings, goes into the street, goes under 2 cars that are driving. I'm like, ah! And then, like, after they both honk at me and flip me off, I'm like, yeah, I'm done.
I'm
done with this.
Yeah.
I'm done with this. Like, I gave up very early, but yeah.
There's some badass, like, I know in New York and stuff, like, where the traffic's so high, there's a bunch of dudes that have, like, those electric skateboards, so you just press a button and like go up to like 30 miles per hour or something. I don't know, not 30, but probably 10. It's still fast though. That's like 30K. Like it's
Let me
fast.
introduce Mr. Rock. I'm gonna end this man's whole career.
It's just so cool, man.
Because skateboards are not forgiving with rocks. I remember that. Longboards are more forgiving because they can kind of.
Well, that's what I've said. They're longboards. Like you do like electronic longboards, and they have like super thick wheels.
That's why I'm like, because if they don't have like, because if you hit if you hit a rock on a skateboard going 30, you're gonna have a bad time.
Yeah.
Let's hope you know how to roll.
Yeah, I'm like lawsuit central. So unless they found out a way for you not to hit every single thing.
Yeah.
Welcome to the bubble.
Oh, has any one of you ever been the kids that brought a scooter to a skateboard park?
No, I've never gone to a skateboard park.
And it was. I didn't realize at the moment that everyone hated me. It took me until I was later on in life. I literally caused I think that whole night, I caused about 5 collisions with other skateboarders because I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I'd go up the ramp, get scared, and just go, I'm going to back down. While people were coming up behind me like, and they divert and hit each other. And I didn't realize at one point, like we were really young, so I think they kind of let us away with it.
Yeah.
And it was an indoor, but at one point, I remember a guy breaking his skateboard, like, motherfucker. And I thought it was because he missed a jump. No, it's because I cut him off and he hit a ramp right on his shin. Like, yeah, so never be the scooter kid. That's for everyone to watch. Never bring a scooter to a skateboard park unless you know what you're doing. Yeah. Then go ahead. But people
we gotta start somewhere though.
Yeah, but skateboards don't like scooter kids.
Sure. Scooter kids don't like skateboarders.
Your ankle has never felt pain like it has with a fucking scooter though. God, those things ruin ankles and shins. Because in scooters, you do the thing where you kick it and you spin the thing around, and it would just.
I remember when I was like 8. That's when scooters really came into like grade 3. They're like fucking everyone needed a scooter. Yep. They were so cool.
It was, and I remember even going.
They were so easy to do tricks with too.
Because it's like just take it, literally lift it.
You do an ollie, yeah. You just like jump at the same time and lift it up.
Skateboard didn't have a handle on it.
No.
You can't do that with a skateboard. Essentially, it's a skateboard with a handle on it.
Yeah.
Pretty well.
Well, that's wheels. Also, it had the ability to stop. That was my favorite thing. It actually had a backstop where you could put your foot onto it.
That's right. Yeah. Fuck, it's been so long.
No, I love scooters. And then scooters are great. And I remember and I know we're transitioning, but every single like phase of like elementary school, like Yu-Gi-Oh cards, to Beyblades, to Pokemon, to the like. There used to be those. You remember those little like plastic figurines you flick at each other, and you have like you would like lay out a line of guys, and you would have a line of guys. You try to flick your guys into their guys to take them out. Crazy Bones. It was literally called Crazy Bones.
I remember that. Yeah.
Like you do.
They're like these little men that you can buy in their packs.
Yeah.
And like you can like fling them at each other. Yeah. I remember what it was. Yeah.
And I remember my best one was an asshole because he was really low. Like it was a huge base, and he just had a skinny head. So anytime anyone hit him, he just moved backwards. He wouldn't fall over.
Yeah, don't you like whip them? They're supposed to fall off, right?
Yeah,
like
you're supposed to flick them, and they're supposed to like completely go. But mine was like it was almost like I glued it. So like it was my favorite one, and I remember because it was a big red guy with a cigar. I don't know where I was going with this, but I don't know. Yeah, scooters got me. No,
Scooters got me to Crazy Bones.
Yeah, they got me singing nostalgia.
And then Crazy Bones got me into Beyblades, and then Beyblades got me into Digimon.
I was a ruthless Pokemon trader, though. I remember that. I was like stonks. Like I was playing the stock market. I remember one girl. I gave her a Nidoqueen for a shiny Arcanine.
Nidoqueen was shiny, wasn't it?
No, Nidoqueen wasn't. No, not even Nidoqueen. The second evolved form. Nidoran for a shiny Arcanine or Arcanine.
It's Nidorina.
That's it.
The big flaming tiger.
Yeah,
Arcanine.
He's a dog. It's a dog.
Yeah, but no, it's a big tiger thing.
Okay, it looks like it's got tiger stripes.
Yeah, but but anyway, I remember trading it for that. Damn. I was a king until she came. No, she came back after crying. I felt bad and traded it back.
One time, I remember like it was Christmas and I fucking swapped like we had Pokemon cards in our stockings, like the Generation 1 or whatever. And I swapped the stockings, and I gave my sister the one. And she fucking opened it. It had Charizard. I'm like, can I trade it? And then she was like, why? Like half. She was like, yeah, sure. And I got Charizard. I'm like, yes. I finally got fucking Charizard.
Yeah.
And I had it, and I lost it. Like not like the same day, like over like a year or something. And my fucking bed had wheels. It was under my bed, and the wheels went over the fucking card and destroyed the card. Man, I was so sad, dude.
Yeah, it's done.
I was like, fuck. And then I remember, like, this guy we went to elementary school with, they're like, yeah, we're selling a bunch of Pokemon cards. So I had, like, my Pidgeot. I had, like, all these really good cards. And I just gave them to him to sell it. And then I just kept them all, and I didn't get anything. But I didn't care at that point. Yeah. But now I'm like, fuck, I wish I had them all. Because I had like a binder full of Pokemon cards, and then I had so many fucking Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I gave to my cousin.
Yeah.
Because that was like an obsession. I was obsessed with Yu-Gi-Oh cards and spending money on Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I'm like, I gotta stop collecting these because I'm spending so much money on them.
Oh yeah.
So I gave them all away, and like that was my thing, like to get rid of my obsession was like, here you go. Here, take them.
Like
all.
cleansing yourself.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I'm done.
I got all these good cards, man. Like super good cards. But I sucked at battling with them. I just like collecting them.
Yeah. Well, Yu-Gi-Oh, same thing. I didn't have a lot of cards though. My mom would give me cards. She tried to bribe me.
As your parents do.
No, she.
Dan, you
she
play
would
hockey.
say,
You play
hey,
this
no,
game
no,
of hockey. I'll give you a pack.
Yeah, essentially, no. Like you score a goal, not like Yu-Gi-Oh pack. But my mom would say, if you read one book, I will buy a Yu-Gi-Oh pack. And I'm like, okay.
Easy.
And I remember the title of the book because I fucking hated it. It was a dragon one, and I think it was like 150 pages.
Mm-hmm.
But 150 pages. I made it to like 20, and I broke down. I'm like, I can't do it. I hate it because I hated reading because it wasn't visual. I didn't have anything visually stimulating. It was later in life. You know what it was that got me? It was first off the story I didn't like. Later on, what I found is I remember my first book I ever read was Del Toro Quest. First off, an amazing series. Still love it. I actually read the series backwards.
Oh, this one, yeah.
I read it backwards.
Yeah.
I started at the last book, and I'm like, okay, this guy's dead. Now what? I'm like,
no, I just listened to that podcast where you'd explain this whole thing.
Anyway, but it's going back to that where it's like, I don't know, you start something. It's I don't know. Now I'm getting nostalgic because I'm thinking back to the first time I actually had to read books. Hated it. Del Toro Quest, loved it. Read it like nothing. I'm like, why can't I get a Yu-Gi-Oh pack for that? But that deal was already off the table.
Deal's off.
Yeah, no. But your parents have to do whatever they can to get you. It's like a dog. You have to figure out what motivates them. Food, rewards, $5
a bowl.
I figured out I am easily motivated. Positive reinforcement, I will build anything for you kind of thing. Like positive reinforcement does me incredibly well. And yeah, just positive reinforcement. Anytime criticism, like I can take criticism, but more often than not, like I internalize it and I'm like, it's not like, hey, you screwed up this question. I would take that and be like, you're screwed up. You know what I mean? Like,
see, I find that funny because I know people like that. I'm more of like I actually prefer the criticism than I do like the feedback, but the criticism can actually motivate me to improve on myself.
Well, that also depends. Is it good criticism?
Yeah.
Well, no,
I don't mind constructive criticism.
But even if someone goes like, "Hey, man, you're doing really shitty at your job right now, and we need you to pick it up, and here, this is what I need you to do." At least I know, okay. I know where I'm at. This is how I can improve myself.
Yeah, that would be good criticism.
Yeah.
I'm talking you're terrible, kill yourself kind of criticism.
No, yeah, but that's not even. That's just bullying at that point.
Yeah, exactly. But like how well you
even if someone's like you're a shithead and all that, I'd be like, okay,
well, what Dan was saying was he would take that and he would internalize it.
Yeah.
Whereas it doesn't just glide off his back and he keeps going.
Yeah. No. I just I like constructive criticism. I guess that's one I like.
Though on a healthy note about that though, with criticism and listening to other people, I have gotten to the point now where I can very much so filter out the people whose opinion actually can affect me and those who can't. Like there'll be a few people at work where originally I'll do something and then maybe they'll yell at me and I'll go, oh damn, feel down on myself, and I'm like, and then I come around to it, I'm like, wait a second, I don't care about them, and what they criticize me about is very menial and I can change that easily. I'm like, I don't care. Whereas if it was someone close to me telling me something, I'd be like, damn. And then that would hit you because then I respect that opinion so much more. I remember, and I even explained last time, when I went over the one time to Vince's and tried to give him food, his sick package, and he said, dude, this is over the line, that's creepy, right? I take that and I take it to heart because I'm like, I value that opinion. I'm like, okay, let's go back. But if I did that, for example, to Syl, I wouldn't care because I don't know. I'm just kidding.
I don't even know what you're talking about now. You lost me at the sick package.
I don't know. I was following that one.
He mentioned that at a previous podcast.
Yeah, sorry. My bad.
How he essentially broke into Vince's house to because Vince wasn't feeling well. He broke into Vince's house to give him this sick guy package. And Vince is like, that is not okay because it's not.
It is. It's a boundary thing, and I get that now.
But so you valued that because you're like, oh shit,
that's
I
what I'm saying.
something.
I value his opinion. Whereas before, I would take everyone's criticism and internalize and go, fuck, I'm terrible. Now I'll play Dota and some guy will say, kill yourself. I know I don't.
Well,
care.
that's just the internet.
No, but before, I would still take that and I would to a point go.
Oh yeah, see, I don't take that for. Yes, I agree with you on that part. Those things. Yesterday, I was playing a game. And it's a group of 4 people, and you got to get certain points, right? Else, if you fail, you have to restart it, right? And then all of a sudden, we failed it, and there's 4 of us, right? And then this guy types in the team chat's like, you guys fucking suck, like blah blah blah, and I just type back, LOL, you died too, because he was part of it. I'm like, dude, you're the like we all died, like you died too, so why does it matter? I just laughed, and he's like, and then he started shooting at me because he couldn't chat right, but he could shoot, didn't do anything to me, but I just started laughing. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna keep going, like because it's like no, like you did the same thing, like it's not just all on us, you know, so.
I get that.
I love that shit. Actually, that shit gets me excited because I just like, okay, I can just come up with something back. Like,
right? Because like there is a fun nature to trolling that is enjoyable. Like for example, like all of us now we play Siege. And, like, I'm loving that because like
Siege
I'm not particularly good at the game. I know that because I'm not good in stressful situations. Like I'm good with team deathmatch where I can respawn. I'm good at those games because I don't care about dying. These games I'm like. But the funny thing is that everyone else who talks, you can I just love talking all chat and just being like, you know, hey guys, check out my like Twitch TV channel and like, shit, like just to bug them or just random shit. I love doing that.
Well, I also like I just like the pressure part of it. Like I'm the different part where I like the pressure.
You're the opposite of me. You love. I hate that. Pressure.
But you know what? It's because you get like a fucking run of adrenaline off it. You're like,
a huge rush.
Like when you can clutch something, you're like, fuck yeah!
Like you're counting. It's just like, okay, it's 5 versus 5. Oh shit, it's 3 versus 5. It's 3 versus 3. It's 3 versus 1. It's 2 versus 1. 1 versus 1.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh shit.
And dude, your heart's pumping because you can feel it like going like you're like, oh my god. But you just get so excited. You're like, fuck yeah.
And then you die and you get blue balled and you almost clutched it, but you.
And you're like, oh, I was so close.
True. But then at least you still got the experience, or like COD, like War, like World or the Warzone.
Warzone, yeah.
Like I will admit, and that is like the feeling of when you get the win, and like I remember we've been a few times where like more often, and for anyone else listening, like when we play like COD Warzone, easily I'm probably the bet no. But like I remember a few times like Matt, you'd be the last one, and I remember that like and you'd kill like 2 or 3 guys, and we clutch it, and then like. For us, it's like we won, but then for you, that's another thing. I won, but I won. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like, not in a rude way, but you essentially go to your teammates, say, hey, teammates, get in the backpack. Get in the backpack, I'm going to carry you. Like,
well,
and, like,
one
that's
time,
the fun part of it.
One time I was playing with, like, Willie and Tay and Calvin, and they all died, and there was 3 squads left, and I got 7 kills at the end. I won the game, and it was 3v1 at the very end, and I killed them all. I was just like, yeah! And
that's ecstasy. Right? Where you go, you're like... And then you sit there, like, I am God.
Yeah.
I am next to him.
Yeah, I'm like, it can all go downhill from here. I don't care. Yeah,
you don't care. Like, and then the thing is, too, I bet you immediately after that, when you don't care, you play so much better.
Yeah.
Because you go, I don't care. And then you're relaxed instead of, like, for me, and that's why I hate those games, I get tense. Yeah. Because when I'm the last one left, I'm like, everyone's watching me. They're watching me. Should I be switching this gun? Should I not be here?
Yeah.
Like,
I also, like...
Should I have an RPG in the final circle? A lot of questions.
I find those games, too, like... The element of the fun factor is like I'm playing with my friends and I'm doing personally well, but also my friends are doing well. But you're mostly
it's mostly
like if I can get 2 kills and I die, I'd be happy because I'm like it's 2 versus 1.
If I can get 1 kill and I die, I'm like I'm even.
But it's like you're like even or I'm carrying above my weight. Yeah. Like like I'm not a detriment to the team.
Yeah, I get that.
Where like in Siege though, like I know there's way too many good players. Yeah. I'm like, dude, I'm just happy if I get a kill. Yeah. And I'm also just very happy if we can win the game.
Yeah. Also, you don't play PC shooters very much. So.
Yeah, and I'm playing all on mouse and keyboard.
One of the least games. Forgiving games.
Yeah. So. Well, actually, I guess the good thing is, though, because you've been playing Destiny a lot on computer, which helped you immensely, obviously, because you have, like, the hand-eye now instead of just the controller.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, because, like, instinctively, like, you excel at those games. I remember Fortnite, all that, you'd usually be the one at the top. Even Apex... You're usually the best out of all. Sil would be second. I'd be third more often than not. And I remember that. But like you thrive in that environment. But now you take the thriving environment and you applied it to a computer, which you didn't know, so you had to learn it. But now that you're learning computer, like yeah.
Well, I like a lot of. How do I say this? Like I like all the multiplayer stuff on PC more than I like it on console because it loads really quick. It's got smooth frame rates. And like
it looks great.
It looks good.
Destiny looks way better on PC.
Yeah. And I don't think unfortunately, like even when I was playing on console, after switching the monitor, I don't think I could ever play on a TV really again. No. It's too hard. It's too big. Like there's too much distraction.
And you can't. I didn't realize until after. I always thought bigger is better because you can see everything. Yeah. You can't because now you physically have to look from here to here instead of.
You know what the worst part is? Like now it's kind of like it's so irrelevant for me to have a 4K TV because like all it really like there's no 4K cable. Like or anything like that, like digital cable or anything like that. So like, and I guess maybe Netflix will stream 4K, or I don't know if they do that. not.
You have a couple.
But they might have some things, right?
Yeah.
But like even then, it's just the colors that look a little sharper. It's nothing really huge. So it's like even though with like the cool things that came out with what was that? NVIDIA, right? Those game graphics cards. Like it's that like I think the 3090 can go up to 8K.
Oh,
and it's like holy shit, yeah, that's awesome. I'm like, yeah, but like I'm not really gonna fucking notice anything. And you can't even get a monitor right now. You can't get an 8K monitor.
No.
The only thing that they have is an 8K LG TV. It's 80 inches.
But but about that, I will say, performance-wise, it's absurd.
Oh, for
It's
sure.
absurd.
No contest.
No, for
And, like,
sure.
and the thing that always makes me is like, you can always compare, and the computer is unforgiving in the fact that technology is so rapid and advancing, and so this year's model is now obsolete. Next, but the thing is, you can always compare them, whereas these ones coming out just blow everything else out of the water. Whereas like, you can't even compare them to their old version because it's not comparable.
The shitty thing I hate, like that's what I don't like about PC. But it's just like tech.
Investment.
Like it's just like tech though. They always come out with something better the next year. Whereas like at least for my console, I'm like it's 5 years or 6 years of I know what I'm getting and I don't have to worry about it.
It's static. It's always going to run their games. It's always going to be on the same level as everyone else.
And it's going to look great. It's going to perform well. Now it's like when you like the difference between a PS4 load time and a PC is quite substantial. I get that when you do both, right? But also like it's like, but I know what I'm getting at least out of what I've paid for. It's $500 for 8 years of enjoyment and playing, plus the games you pay for extra. But then it's like, oh, my graphics card's good only for 2 years. Now I have to start updating that. And then, oh my God, my CPU is not working as much either. So now I have to put another X amount of dollars to that. And you're like, well, now that I have all this cost, I can get the same things, probably just get a new PC for the same price.
Yeah.
So it's like, fuck, like, like that's the part I don't like about it. But I also think it's cool that you can at least upgrade on the go compared to like, oh, this can get me 5 years here. This can give me 10 years, and that stuff. That is cool. Mm-hmm. So I am liking a computer a lot more than I thought I ever would. And I actually do like the mouse and keyboard.
You see, it grows on you.
Yeah.
It's awkward as hell at first. You're like...
Yeah. For shooters, it's definitely... Like, the mouse part is just so good. It's so... the no recoil is so nice.
You click on their head.
Yeah. You just go... Vroom, instead of controller doing this weird amalgamation of two like, sticks.
Yeah. But, like, that's what I like about consoles, though, is that they have those, like, those first-party games that are just so fun that are, like... You don't need that stuff, right? You don't need that accuracy now because it's a story game. It's not multiplayer.
Yeah, like games like Grand Theft Auto, that one is awkward on PC because it doesn't port very well.
And they port it after. They never. They always make it for console first.
Yeah,
and then they port it later.
And like it plays much better on a controller than it ever does on keyboard.
I remember actually, even the one thing I remember called Warzone, the one advantage, flying. I didn't realize it's like whenever you like Matt or anyone else flies on control. I know obviously it's skill based too, but it's like maneuvering, and then the keyboard guys go because like you can't do it because the keyboard's so awkward. And like you said, like they porting it, it's awkward because you're like, I don't know if the controls are supposed to work like this.
Yeah,
you get used to it after a while, but you're never as good as a controller with them. But when it comes to aiming, well, and the have aim assist, but without aim assist. Because this target because you can get on target quicker, but they can stay probably on target better.
Yeah.
Because like even when we were playing with Ben, he would be like, "You're all on PC, aren't you?" Just because like how quickly we would turn to like go upstairs or like aiming down sights and like switching from target to target. You just can't do that with a controller.
No, and also motion blur fucks you because at least we have static. We can see when we turn instead of because console always has motion blur to save.
Yeah, and the movement's definitely better. Like for certain things, like for turning, like I definitely like the mouse. Like boom, boom, like it's like super quick too. Yeah. Compared to like, it's like it feels like a slow turn where you're going on like a controller.
I get that.
But I think there was one shooter game where they had a button where you can instantly turn at 180. It would help a little bit.
It might. Or that might also fuck you though too. Because then you'd be like turn, and then since your guy's a little bit over 180, you go hey, and you go all the way back around or something.
I think Resident Evil 4 had that.
There might be a button that does a 180 right away. Yeah, it was Resident Evil 4.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So, or if you could just do it like a 90 degrees. So
I think they implemented that into the remakes of 2 and 3.
Yeah, but granted, that was a lifesaver.
That also make it look really choppy though, because you literally can see a guy go, and instead of an animation of him moving, there's.
But you know what they did? They like reversed the camera.
Depending.
So it was going forwards, and all of a sudden it went backwards. So like it goes zoom like in the old one. That's what it looked like.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Oh bugger, there was actually the Mario game does that too. Where normally you're like, just scroll it, but then he'll do mini games where the view will go up here, and all of a sudden now he's on this plane instead of this plane, and he's walking like, I was watching a few of the Mario Galaxy. Oh my god, that game has a lot of mechanics. Impressive.
What do you guys think? What do you guys think about the? I know you don't really have a dog in the fight. Me and Rheal got pre-orders on for the PS5. What do you guys think comparatively? Have you guys kind of looked into what Xbox has and PS5?
No, not at all.
Not between the two of them.
I know that the power of the Xbox One, like Series X, like the big one that kind of looks like a PC, like it's got more power than the PS5 does. A little more, like just like let's say like 3.6 hertz versus 3.8 hertz. Like it's not a huge difference,
Okay.
but like what I do find impressive, even though I also like, I'm kind of upset. I'd say is because like Xbox just bought the rights to ZeniMax Studios,
Bethesda.
which own Bethesda, right? So either it's really smart. It's a smart investment because like one, if you want it to be exclusive, you have these major games that are forcing you to go, hey, they're only available on Xbox, but if you don't want to play it on, you don't have an Xbox, you can buy the Xbox Game Pass on PC for $5 a month. So they're going to force people to be like, fuck, I got to get Game Pass because it's not going to come to Steam and stuff like that, right? If they want to do it that way. Or they can go the other way and saying, okay, but we own the game, so like whatever copies of Skyrim you sell, we'll put it on Steam, we'll put it on PlayStation, but we get all the money from it. So either way, they're like win-win,
But
right?
if they do it the other way, the biggest thing is that if they do it the one way, the gamers win. Because then the gamers go, I can play the game. And just companies are the ones that fight, whatever. Yeah. But if they make it exclusive, kind of like Epic does, where they go, hey, by the way, do you want to play this game on like the Steam? It's like, no, you have to play it on this one. And we're going to actually, if you bought it on Steam, tough shit. We took it off Steam. You can't even play it anymore. You have to rebuy it on our platform. Those people, I look at it and go, fuck you. Fuck you and your greed just because you need it that badly. But whereas, I know the Microsoft, I think the Microsoft Skyrim, I'm worried. Because I'm worried that what they're going to do is this is going to be the chain of events that they go, okay, now we're just going to buy up every major game developer and exclusivity, and then if you want to play this game, buy that console. If you want to play this game, buy that console.
Well, yeah, but that's what they're going to do, though, is they're actually getting into PC by saying buy the Game Pass.
Oh, Game Pass, you're right. Yeah.
But which is a good deal, but the reason they're doing this is because they can't, in my opinion, come up with creative enough games that sell enough for them to, make it a value of like, hey, like. And that's why, like, PlayStation, they were asking PlayStation, like, do you want to do a Game Pass? He's like, well, we're spending hundreds of millions of dollars on producing these games. Like, we want to sell it so we can recoup the money so we can keep investing in these studios. Like, these aren't just, like, $10 million studios and they're all hanging out in a small one floor of a building. It's like a massive building that they bought for the studio. They own the studio. They fund the studio all this money. So, like, that God of War game was probably, like, 300 million, 400 million, like a big film. And they have to sell like 5 million copies at $80 a piece to make that money back, right? And then get a little bit of profit. They're gonna get profit off it, but then it's like, cool, but I'm supporting that studio too. I'm not just supporting Sony. That studio that put all that time and effort in is getting the reward, and they're getting the also the critical acclaim and all that. And it's like good for the studio because now they're a reputable studio. They're like, man, if they didn't even make God of War, but they made another game, I'm going to try that game because they made it. Yeah, And now it's like, cool, like the bought Bethesda, that's sweet. And they have a lot of cool, like they have Arcane that made, Dishonored and all that. Those are cool games. Like Microsoft owns all of it because they were all under umbrellas of Bethesda.
That's a good company.
So it's sweet, right? Like they have all that. But it's like, fuck, like PlayStation, like, built up all these studios, and now it's like Microsoft's just like, I'm buying it. Like, but because it's not because Xbox couldn't buy it. It's Microsoft that could buy it.
Yeah, because Xbox. Yeah, it's essentially Xbox only succeeds because Microsoft. is the parent company.
And I believe obviously
not the only reason they succeed.
Sony's a big company too. Don't get me wrong; they do TV and all that stuff, and they have Sony Pictures, but they're not on the level of Microsoft. No. Like Microsoft is the biggest thing in the planet. They have
not the biggest thing in the planet. There's bigger ones.
Well, they're on par with Apple. They're billions. Yes, they're almost $1 trillion companies. Yeah, like they're huge, right? And they don't just do. They do everything. They have smartphones. They have laptops. They do all that stuff, right? Like it's not.
And now Xbox, and then because.
So it's
because PS1 was out before the Xbox original, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
So I think if I'm not mistaken, my understanding was that Microsoft went, oh, look at this, look how many they sold, let's do it.
Microsoft came in the second generation when PS2 came out.
Yeah, that's when it was. I thought so. So I believe the PlayStation was the first. Like I remember GameCube. I love GameCube, even though with PlayStation, I'm like, oh, that's a. I remember like even I'm like that's an adult console.
Dude, like name me 4 exclusives off the Xbox. You can go Halo. You can go Gears of War. And that's like the 2 you can really think of.
I honestly couldn't even think of those when you just mentioned it. But yeah.
Like I can't even think. I can't remember. Oh, I guess Fable.
Forza?
Fable. And Forza. Those are like the
I think
4.
that was
Yeah, whereas
exclusive.
PS5 you have like Uncharted, you have
God of War.
Yeah.
you
Like
have
Last of
Last
You
of
have
Us, you have
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. Yeah, a lot of them. Yeah, I guess the thing is, just
You
for
have
one-
what's the other one called? Like Until Dawn. No, that's another one. Until Dawn.
yeah,
You have what's that big game with the chick and she has the bow there?
Yeah, you're fighting
Horizon Zero Dawn.
Horizon Zero Dawn.
Like, and then you have Killzone.
Final
You have
Fantasy.
before like the remake 7, all that was exclusive.
Oh, you're talking recent. I'm going like way back.
Yeah, but
And
way
then-
back when it was.
And
But
then,
now,
like exclusives from like the previous generations. Yeah, Crash Bandicoot, Spyro, like all
yeah,
those
those
old
are
ones.
they were exclusives,
Were,
and then
yeah.
now Activision owns them, so
Yeah.
they distribute it differently. But yeah, but like that's all like these huge things, and then like it's almost like like a kid who worked really hard and he earned the Xbox, like he had to get a job.
Yeah,
and
like
he's
a
like,
paper route.
or like he earned the PlayStation because
Yeah.
he did a paper route for 2 months. He saved up enough money, and he's like, yeah, like this is my reward. Whereas like the Xbox feels like some rich kid whose dad just said, here's a check, go get whatever the fuck you want right now, and didn't
Yeah.
earn it. That's what Xbox feels like, because Microsoft's the big daddy for the kid who's Xbox, like the Xbox team, saying, I think it's a genius acquisition if we pay $7.5 billion to buy this company. And it is a smart acquisition. You're going to get your money back no matter what.
Or like Walt Disney when they went like, hey, we're gonna
Star
buy
Wars.
Marvel.
Yeah.
Fuck it. Now, hey, by the way, Netflix. You know all that streaming? Nope. That's
Yeah.
mine. Where it's
Yeah.
like stuff like that where. And I get it, capitalism. That's how capitalism works. And as much as we want to rag
And
on it, that's just
I
what
feel
it
bad
is.
for Netflix because they actually do invest a lot of money back into the company. Like they're actually losing money because they spend so much on keeping exclusive rights for people just to make them happy. Like Friends is like something like $100 million a year just to hold the right. And then you're also investing in Netflix originals. Like, so you got it like
which
there's some good ones.
there are
like,
some good ones. There's
like,
some
there's-
very terrible ones.
Yeah, but House of Cards is awesome. Like there's some good ones on there.
Until the whole underage rape accusation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that pretty much.
Oh, the
Sure.
dude.
Put that.
But
to bed.
there's always gonna be those shows that there's mistakes, right?
Yeah.
Like every company would do
Oh,
it.
that has nothing to do with them. That's,
Yeah.
that's Kevin
Yeah.
Spacey being a monster.
Yeah.
Not them.
But yeah, like that's where it's like, damn, like you feel bad for Netflix because now everyone's just copying what Netflix did.
Well, on the same point though, the only thing I do feel good about, and yes, it sucks that unfortunately, like almost like looking at Netflix like you would like a person, it sucks. But then but with capitalism, I say we only benefit because now
Yeah,
we get
it's better
we
for
get
the
more
consumer.
services, and then all of a sudden, if your service doesn't come up to par, you
Yeah.
lose numbers. Your competitors take over; they have a better service. But this is the only problem. On the flip side, you have the reverse, which is the splitting of all the viewers. Instead of having everyone in one place being
Yeah.
happy, now if you want to watch this, you got to have Hulu. You got to have Netflix. You got to have Amazon Prime. You got to
That's-
have Disney Plus. You got to have Apple TV.
You know what it is, again? It's actually worse than cable.
Yeah.
Because they're now like, okay, we're going to create our own channel, and then you have to pay $5 a month. It seems cheap, but then it's even more because you're like having to go to each thing just to get one thing you want.
Yeah.
Like I'm essentially paying, and I don't know why I'm doing this. I'm paying for Disney Plus literally for The Mandalorian. I don't watch any other Disney movie on there. I'm not like, they're like, hey man, pay $40 right now and you can watch Mulan, and then have it on your Disney Plus thing.
Yeah,
I'm like,
no.
no, I'll just wait till it comes out in
Also,
December.
Oh my God,
That
Mulan
Mulan was a
bombshell. And then
bullshit.
China went like, no, keep.
No,
keep
China
pushing
was
it.
like, nope, we don't want it.
Oh, I thought they pushed it.
No, China literally banned it.
Oh,
You
I
cannot
thought,
watch it in
I thought
China.
China was pushing like, hey, come
No,
on, do
Disney
well.
was all like trying to like appease
Yeah.
China just to make sure that because if it was released in China, it probably would have done all right.
Yeah.
Oh, it made-
But because there was
Right.
so much controversy over it, the Chinese government was like, nope.
Well, and they also got stuck in like the COVID issue, like where
Yeah.
it was supposed to come out on theaters and be this and that, and they're like, "Hey, we'll just charge it on Disney Plus for $40 right now. You can watch it." And then you got a digital copy. I don't know if they mail you one or not, but it's like, no, fuck you. I don't want to. I'll just wait till it's free.
40
But
is
also,
so
I'm like, why am I
much.
paying $10 a month for the Mandalorian?
You know what? The one thing I
Because
do,
as soon as it's over, I'm like, I don't need to watch Disney
No.
Plus.
well, and the thing is though too, though this whole mixing of like everyone, right? Everyone splitting them up and saying, no, greedy, you buy my platform. The one thing about that I don't mind is if anyone ever pisses me off enough, or I go, this is inconvenient, I torrent it.
Yeah.
I go, okay, you've lost my business now. You won't get this money. I'm gonna get it for free.
I give it companies credit that, like, they have a lot of services and then they decide, like, okay, you know what, we're going to change it because it might be inconvenient for you getting charged 4 different things at 4 different periods of the month. So now we can bundle it up for a certain price. Like, I'll give Apple credit for this, and I know you guys don't really like Apple, but, like, I have Apple Music, so it's $9 a month, but you get all the music that they have in their library.
Yeah, see,
Like,
I do that
and you
too.
can download it to your phone, so you download it, and then it's on your phone. You can listen to anything.
It's not streaming. It's there.
It's not even streaming. It's just like downloaded. And then now they're like, okay, you can have Apple Music, and then sometimes you need a bigger online cloud storage. So they have iCloud. So it's an extra, like, I think I pay $1 a month for extra storage, so I can put like up to 500 gigabytes of stuff on this cloud for
How
like
much is on there?
nothing.
How many songs do you have?
It's like for your your phone gets stuck, like, because it's a 64.
Right now.
Oh, sorry, man. It's a 64 gig phone, right? So if I go
That's
past
a lot.
64, then I have the extra storage.
Oh, that's right.
And then it has the backups for my phone. So like literally, I took my phone backup from my old phone. I just got this new one. I tapped it on this phone, and it uploaded everything I had on my phone.
Oh, that's,
So it's cool.
And
But now it's like, hey, you have that service, and then now they have Apple TV Plus or whatever, right? But now it's like, I don't know when it's coming out, but it's like you can bundle all that for whichever services you want. So I think they have like 20 services, right? You can bundle up 4 for $15. I'm like, that's cool. Like, you can bundle whatever you want. So like one thing could be $20, but now it's like you can get that as part of a bundle.
Wow.
And be cheaper and more cost effective, and we'll bundle it up for you. So I'm like, that's something I think that other services are gonna have to do down the road. Is like, we'll give you a bundle. So like, say like Netflix came out with like Netflix audiobooks.
Essentially, we're back to satellite TV.
Yeah, pretty much.
Where you gotta buy. You want those channels?
But
Fuck you.
what if like Netflix is like, yeah, we're coming out with an audiobook thing, and then we'll bundle that in for the same price. You know, you get it for free. Or that's just like what Amazon Prime does. You get the shipping, you get the music, and you get the video all for one price.
True.
But that's because it's all under the same banner.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, which actually I will admit but see, I was Apple for a long time. I liked Apple Music; it worked really well. Same thing. I liked the fact that it was on your system, and then went to Android, and actually even Android has an app for Apple Music you can put on Android.
Oh yeah, like
and
it's
I
the
sat
same
there
thing.
and I'm like, briefly, I'm like, well, it worked really well actually. And don't be wrong, as a company, I have grievances against Apple, but they make a good music player. And anyway, I got peeved at it. I'm like, well. Maybe I should just put it on here. And then my parents like, hey, get on our Spotify account. I'm like, well, I'll try. I do admit I like that they give you. It's like, hey, you might like these songs.
Yeah.
And more often than not, they got bangers.
I do like Spotify, but I just like the convenience of what I have on my phone.
No, of course.
Yeah, but Spotify's like if you want to try something new.
I'm on my parents' account. That's mainly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
well, we'll have to see how it goes. Like you said, might turn into cable in the future, or might
Pretty
do
much
something
is
different.
right now.
I think if it ever does turn into cable, like, hey, you need to have this bundle, torrenting's just gonna go up again.
Yeah.
It's almost like it's a cause and effect.
Yep.
Because I remember when Blockbuster was killing it, and then all of a sudden Blockbuster killed, and then torrenting went. Then Netflix went up, torrenting went down because they didn't need to.
Yeah.
And Netflix, now that there's so much competition, torrenting's gone back up.
Yeah.
The pirates. That's why you always have that pirate hat. You
Well,
can't
that's
stop
the
us.
thing. Like, yeah, it's. Oh. But we were having fun.
I don't want to wrap it up.
I don't want to wrap it up either.
I'm being pointed behind stage that we were going too long.
Someone's in charge.
I don't know. It was my fault. Well, thank you for coming, but don't come again.
Yeah, we got told to wrap it up. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of the Entertaining Stupid Podcast.
Nice.
Totally nails it.
Nailed it.
PADcast.
We'll talk to you guys next time.
Entertaining Stupid Pad Thai. Coming to you live.
You're supposed to look in the camera when you do that.
I did. Coming at you live.
No, you were looking at the
No,
laptop.
I literally went, coming at you live.
Okay, there you go.
Coming at you.
Okay, now just edit one of those in.
Coming.
Do the
I
pad.
did
Do the pad tie
On
again.
his face.
Do the pad tie one more time.
Entertaining Stupid Pad Thai.
There you go. All right, that's it.
Nails it.
Nailed it.
I'm gonna go sodomize my wife.